You know, for years, there's been this pervasive myth floating around the digital world that cryptocurrency is the absolute, untraceable tool for the modern criminal, a kind of financial Wild West where illicit funds just magically vanish into the ether. But is that really true? Are digital criminals actually as hidden as they think they are? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are completely dismantling that myth. We're going to pull back the curtain and reveal exactly how law enforcement agencies are tracking down illicit digital funds. We'll look directly at the playbook used by specialized digital detectives to hunt down criminal syndicates and seize their assets. Okay, let's dive right in. To demystify this, we're going to break it down into 4 logical steps. First, the cryptocurrency challenge. Second, unmasking the blockchain. Then, keys, wallets, and pins. And finally, the digital detectives. So part 1, the cryptocurrency challenge, a truly borderless mystery. It's honestly pretty easy to see why criminals love crypto. I mean, traditional investigations rely heavily on subpoenas and warrants, right? But here, there are literally no central bodies to serve. The wallets are entirely detached from real-world identities. Add in the fact that peer-to-peer transactions totally bypass standard know-your-customer procedures, the ID checks your normal bank forces you to do, and combine all that with blazing fast international transfers, it looks like a detective's absolute worst nightmare. And this landscape, it's always evolving. A massive modern risk that law enforcement is zeroing in on is the exploitation of NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. Because the value of an NFT is completely subjective and theoretically limitless, they present a really unique risk for trade-based money laundering. Think about it. Criminals can artificially inflate the value of a digital picture of an ape just to justify moving massive wealth across borders. And because of their highly unique nature, these transactions easily bypass standard financial monitoring. All right, moving on to Section 2, unmasking the blockchain. It's decentralized, but as we'll see, it is permanent. Let's start with what we all intuitively understand: traditional, centralized banking. Your normal bank routes every single transfer through one trusted server. They act as the central administrator. They hold the ledger, they verify the identities, and they approve the movement of money from Alice to Bob. If law enforcement needs to trace money, they just go straight to that central server. But a decentralized network flips that whole concept completely on its head. That central bank server, it's entirely gone. Instead, the master ledger, the actual record of all transactions, is distributed across a vast global network of computers. Every participant in the network helps to secure it through encryption, so Alice can send her Bitcoin directly to Bob, peer-to-peer, without ever asking a bank for permission. But, and here is the crucial, fatal flaw for criminals operating on this network, the blockchain is immutable. Once a transaction is recorded on that distributed ledger, it's permanently secured through encryption and can never be changed or altered, ever. So while the network feels pseudo-anonymous, every single transaction a criminal has ever made is permanently recorded in digital stone, completely visible to anyone who knows how to look. That brings us to Section 3, keys, wallets, and pins. Let's look at the actual anatomy of a crypto account. You can basically think of a cryptocurrency account like this. Your public key, or Bitcoin address, is exactly like your standard bank account number. It's totally safe to share, so people can send you funds. You can reuse the same address or constantly generate new ones to try and hide your tracks. But the private key, that is your super secret PIN. Whoever holds that private key has absolute, total control over the funds associated with that public address. Now, in reality, we're not talking about simple 4-digit PINs here. These are massive alphanumeric strings, or even scannable QR codes. If a detective raids a house and spots that specific string of code scribbled on a sticky note, or maybe hidden away in a text file, well, game over. They've essentially just found the master keys to the criminal's digital vault. So how are people actually storing these keys? Well, there are 2 main ways. A custodial wallet is held by a third party, usually a digital currency exchange. Think of it like the exchange holding the private key on your behalf, very much like a traditional bank. A non-custodial wallet, on the other hand, is controlled entirely by the user. There's absolutely no third party involved. You are your own bank, holding your own private keys.
So, when law enforcement kicks down a door to execute a search warrant, what exactly are they hunting for? They're looking for the specific hardware and software that ties these abstract digital concepts right to physical reality. We're talking mobile wallets, which are phone apps, usually protected by a password. They're hunting for hardware wallets, physical USB-like devices like a ledger or Trezor that are protected by a PIN. And they are scanning for desktop wallets, software housed on a physical computer and secured by a master seed phrase. Finding these items is the golden link between the digital ledger and the physical suspect. Finally, we reach Section 4, the digital detectives. Let's talk about actually taking down the network. Enter the Australian Federal Police Cryptocurrency Capabilities Team, or the CCT. This specialized unit is basically the ultimate foil to the crypto criminal. They actively advise investigations by explaining exactly how targets are using cryptocurrencies, and their arsenal, it's honestly incredible. They actively analyze those permanent blockchain transactions. They interpret the complex results from digital currency exchanges. They identify the proceeds of crime. And get this, they physically attend search warrants to identify wallets, locate seed phrases, and immediately transfer illicit crypto into secure police wallets. Then they tie the whole shebang together by providing airtight expert evidence for court. So the crucial point is how this all comes together to actually catch a launderer. It's a precise, step-by-step takedown. Step 1, the CCT traces the immutable blockchain following the flow of the dirty digital coins. Step 2, they follow that trail right until the money hits a custodial wallet at a digital currency exchange. Step 3, they hit that exchange with legally binding data requests. And Step 4, they trace those transactions all the way to Australian dollar gateways, linking this digital phantom straight to a real-world, cashable bank account. Now, to force those exchanges to actually hand over the real identities hiding behind the wallets, investigators use some massive legal hammers. They utilize Section 49 requests to compel data from the exchanges. They leverage Section 355 requests to tap into the Australian Taxation Office's domestic datasets. And for international targets, they use EGMOT requests, a massive global network that allows financial intelligence agencies to share information, ripping away the veil of anonymity literally anywhere in the world. You know, criminals flocked to cryptocurrency because they really believed it offered perfect, untraceable anonymity. But the ultimate irony here is that the very technology they thought would protect them, that unalterable blockchain, is exactly what creates an eternal, unbreakable trail for detectives. If the ledger records every transaction forever and investigators have the tools to decode it, is a digital criminal ever truly safe? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this completely changes how you view the digital underground.